In 2010, the Kyrgyz ambassador to Azerbaijan Kairat Osmonaliev joined the diplomatic service after working in law enforcement. Until 2016, he was vice-rector of the Diplomatic Academy of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Kyrgyzstan, and from 2016 to 2021, he was a professor at the Jusupali Sagin National University of Kyrgyzstan. Since 2021, he has been the ambassador of Kyrgyzstan to Azerbaijan.
Greetings, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you for the meeting. We will be pleased to discuss relations between our countries and other important issues.
Thank you for inviting me.
How do you assess relations between Azerbaijan and Kyrgyzstan? Some time ago, the president of Kyrgyzstan, Sadir Japarov, visited Azerbaijan. What were the political and economic results of this trip?
The latest visit was special in terms of signing documents that raise our cooperation to the level of strategic partnership. The visit included the second meeting of the Interstate Council, and since there were no issues in the political and diplomatic sphere, the presidents focused on mutual trade and economic cooperation, transport and logistics issues. We are interested in increasing the potential of the Trans-Caspian international transport route, known as the Middle Corridor. At the meeting, the authorized capital of the Azerbaijan-Kyrgyz Development Fund was increased 4 times to $100 million. We agreed that a 5-star hotel on the shore of Lake Isikkul, considered our jewel, will be put into operation in a short time. The parties decided to hold the next meeting of the Intergovernmental Commission in Baku either this summer or early autumn. The cooperation program adopted by the two countries can be called a 5-year plan or a roadmap for medium-term cooperation. During the visit, the Days of Culture of Kyrgyzstan festival was held in Azerbaijan for the first time. There are plans to hold a Days of Culture of Azerbaijan festival in Kyrgyzstan. We with great pleasure welcome the opening of the monument to the outstanding Kyrgyz writer Chingiz Aytmatov in Baku. This monument is a symbol of our friendship.
Azerbaijan and Kyrgyzstan are countries inhabited by peoples of the same origin, cooperating within the framework of the Organization of Turkic States. How do you see the future of this organization?
The Organization of Turkic States, created by changing the name of the Cooperation Council of the Turkic-speaking states, Turkic Council, is developing rapidly. We are actively cooperating in political and diplomatic, trade and economic, cultural and humanitarian spheres. This year it is planned to hold an official summit of the organization in Bishkek and an unofficial one in Shusha. Our president has already confirmed his participation in the event. Undoubtedly, there is great potential for moving forward in the areas I mentioned, as we have common roots and a common history. Based on our current relations, I can say that a great future awaits the Organization of Turkic States.
Azerbaijan and Kyrgyzstan have signed about 60 documents on cooperation. How will this contribute to the development of relations?
The documents signed during the last visit were aimed at maximum synchronization of our bilateral cooperation. The number of businessmen and business structures is increasing both in Kyrgyzstan and Azerbaijan. We hope that the signed documents will play an important role as a regulatory framework, promote business growth, and strengthen business relations between the two countries. For example, there is experience in applying privileges in customs clearance and taxation of goods of mutual interest in trade. I think this is due to the objective desire for business growth between the two brotherly and friendly countries.
How is economic cooperation between Azerbaijan and Kyrgyzstan developing? What work is being done to develop economic ties?
Unfortunately, the trade turnover between our countries is low. The heads of state have emphasized this issue several times over the past 2 years. One of the obstacles to the development of trade is logistical problems. However, if we look at the regional trends, we will see that freight traffic along the Middle Corridor is growing. Infrastructural facilities are expanding in this direction to facilitate the flow of goods. We are also located on the Silk Road. We have over 1,400 kilometers of border with China, one of the world's leading exporters. This country is also a major importer. That is, goods can be transported through the territory of our country to third countries and back to China. Therefore, the potential for increasing trade turnover is high.
At what stage is the development of tourism relations between Azerbaijan and Kyrgyzstan?
Our tourism relations continue to develop. Azerbaijan has become a tourist destination and is of interest to many people. There are many reasons to visit your country. There are several types of tourism, including health tourism, People will also have the opportunity to be treated in the clinics of Naftalan. We have cultural landmarks like Lake Isikkul. However, difficulties with the flow of tourists arise from the fact that there are no direct flights between Azerbaijan and Kyrgyzstan. We are also working on this issue. Azerbaijan Airlines has included the opening of flights to Bishkek in its development strategy. At the moment, charter flights between the two countries are being realized. There is a possible flow of tourists in the opposite direction, from Kyrgyzstan to Azerbaijan. I think this will contribute to an increase in the flow of tourists.
The Kyrgyz government plans to build a school in Agdam that will symbolize the friendship between the two countries. What can you say about it?
This school will be built in the village of Kidali. Its foundation was laid on April 25th this year, with the participation of the presidents of the two countries. The Kidali village is practically being built from scratch. 719 houses will be built here. In turn, we will present a school for 530 students to the brotherly Azerbaijani people. Its construction will go in parallel with the construction of houses. We believe that this will symbolize the brotherly relations between the two countries.
What is the level of cultural, humanitarian, and educational ties between the two countries? What work is being done in this direction?
Our relations in these spheres are linked by our common, historical, and mental ties. Recently, the Days of Culture of Kyrgyzstan Festival was successfully held in Azerbaijan. This is confirmed by feedback from the audience. As for education, I think that thanks to our relations, students of the two countries will be able to have more opportunities. I would also like to note that there is a very large Azerbaijani diaspora in Kyrgyzstan, 21,000 people. These are descendants of people who were forcibly resettled and deported to our country in the last century. I think that our relations in cultural, humanitarian, and educational spheres will develop. Such relations are necessary for communication and mutual support. The Kyrgyz people showed sensitivity and provided support to the Azerbaijani people in the most difficult times, especially during the occupation of your territories.
Speaking about the diaspora, what can you say about the role of our compatriots in the socio-political life of Kyrgyzstan?
The Azerbaijani diaspora plays a very significant role in Kyrgyzstan's multi-ethnic society. There are many builders, doctors, and teachers among Azerbaijanis. Some of them were awarded. I would like to make a special mention of Akiful Ovidov, chairman of the Kyrgyzstan-Azerbaijan Friendship and Cooperation Society, and honorable president of the Azeri Public Association. He was awarded the Order of Friendship, which is the highest honor. In general, Azerbaijanis contribute to all spheres of public life and are worthy representatives of our multi-ethnic society.
Mr. Ambassador, what steps will Kyrgyzstan take to resolve water and land disputes in the Fergana Valley, sustainable resource management, and border demarcation with Tajikistan?
According to the latest data, 75 to 80% of water resources in our region are shared 50 by 50 between Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. We have no problems here. As for land disputes, I hope that they are a thing of the past. The delimitation and demarcation of the border is underway. There are optimistic forecasts that most of the issues will be resolved by the end of this year. This process is best done bilaterally, without intermediaries. There is also an example of a successful solution. Last year we settled water and land relations with Uzbekistan. I think that issues with Tajikistan will be resolved diplomatically within the framework of international law. I see good neighborliness as the best option for relations.
Thank you for the interesting interview. Thank you for your time.
I also want to thank you for the opportunity to discuss interesting topics, especially about the last trip. I wish Baku TV success and the brotherly people of Azerbaijan peace and prosperity.